College Football 25 recently dropped their rankings for their game coming out, and one team's ranking is causing quite an uproar. Obviously, I'm talking about Prime Time and his boys over in Colorado. Before I get into it, I want you to drop your prediction on how many games Colorado will win this season. EA Sports College Football 25 ranked them as the 16th best team in the nation, giving them the 8th best offense and 20th best defense. Now take a look at this media poll that is Colorado ranked number 11. And that's not the national poll, that's just in the Big 12.
Damn!
The college football media thinks there are 10 teams better than Colorado just in their own conference. Now don't get me wrong, watching Colorado under new leadership from Deion Sanders was a lot of fun. Starting off with their big win against TCU, who was ranked 17th at the time, but things quickly changed as Colorado ended their season losing 8 of their last 9 games.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Before I dive into this team heading into the new year, I just want to point a few things out. Vegas set their over-under win total for only 5.5 wins. How is a team that has 5.5 game win total and has plus 4,000 odds to win their own conference championship ranked 16th in College Football 25? People will talk about all the big-time transfers they're bringing in, but how did that work last year? Yes, you have 2 of the best players on offense in the country in Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. You say you've overhauled the offensive line to protect your star quarterback, but what's that really changed? You threw the ball really well last year. Your problem wasn't scoring points, it was defense. Colorado ranked 109th in points per game given up and 125th in yards per game given up. Their defense was not good, not even close, and I don't see how they solved that this offseason. Yet College Football 25 has their defense ranked number 20 in the nation. Another problem I see is Colorado's ability to run the ball and control the clock. Last year they ranked 120th in time of possession, so even if their offense is great passing the ball, if they can't run and melt some of that clock, their defense will be gassed and continue to give up a ton of points. Last year they couldn't stop anyone running the ball. If some of those transfers on the defensive side of the ball make big impacts, that would certainly help, but I'm not so sure that will happen. Certainly they won't jump from outside the top 100 defenses in the country to a top 20 defense, as suggested by their ranking College Football 25. So let's take a look at their schedule and go game by game. I want you guys to tell me in the comments what games you think they're winning. They started off with an FCS game against North Dakota State at home on August 24th that I think they should win. I could see North Dakota State putting up some points, but I imagine Colorado still blows them out to start the year 1-0. Then they head to Nebraska to play the Cornhuskers on September 7th. Nebraska was very competitive last season with only 5 wins, but also 5 losses that were less than 1 possession. Matt Rule has totally changed this program, and I think they could be building something special after signing the number 1 quarterback in this year's class in Dylan Raiola. I think Nebraska has a very underrated defense and will give Colorado problems and slow them down. Will the freshman quarterback be able to keep pace with Shedeur is the big question. I will give the nut to Nebraska because they are at home. I just think they will be too physical, and that is where Colorado really struggled. Nebraska hands Colorado its first loss of the year, and now they're 1-1. Next up is their in-state rival Colorado State on September 14th. This was one of the more exciting games last year, going to double overtime. I don't think it will be as close this time. I expect Colorado to win comfortably and move to 2-1. Then they get to play Baylor at home on September 21st. I'm not too sure what to think of Baylor. I wasn't impressed last year, and I think it will probably be more of the same this year. Colorado should come out of this one 3-1, but I think the season goes downhill from here. They have a big game September 28th at my alma mater down in Orlando, taking on the UCF Knights. This is one I definitely plan to attend. UCF is a team that certainly has the players and speed to put points on the board. They're pretty similar in that both teams put up a ton of points last season but couldn't stop anyone. UCF had a top 40 recruiting class and brought in quite a few transfers, led by Arkansas quarterback KJ Jefferson. I expect a high-scoring game, but I think the difference will be UCF's ability to run the ball, led by RJ Harvey, who put up 1,400 yards and 16 touchdowns last season. UCF wins this one, pushing Colorado to 3-2. Colorado gets a bye week leading up to their home game with Kansas State on October 12th. Kansas State is very well coached, they play hard, and will run right through you. This is another game that I think Colorado struggles with due to the physicality of the Wildcats. I expect Kansas State to get it done in a close bruiser, leaving Colorado at 3-3. Colorado then heads to Arizona on October 19th, taking on a team with a new head coach following the loss of Jedd Fisch to Washington. Arizona has a star at the wide receiver position in McMillan, who will be catching passes from a very good quarterback in Noah Fafita, which spells bad news for Colorado. Arizona had a top 30 offense last year, and I don't expect that to slow down as they return these 2 stars. I give the edge to Arizona as Colorado falls to 3-4 in a high-scoring game. October 26th, Colorado faces Cincinnati in Boulder. I think this is a game Shadur can put up Heisman numbers. I'm thinking 400 yards and 4 touchdowns type of game. Cincinnati's a good program, but their defense will really struggle. Colorado cruises to a victory here and gets back to 500 with a 4-4 record. November 9th, Colorado heads down to Texas Tech fighting to stay alive in the Big 12. Texas Tech has one of the best running backs in the nation in Taj Brooks, who ran all over the league last season, totaling over 1,500 yards just on the ground. This will be a big game for Texas Tech, who's probably fighting to stay alive in the race to win the Big 12. I think this will be closer than many think, but I have the Red Raiders pulling this off, sending Colorado to a record of 4-5. November 6th, Colorado hosts Utah. At this point, Colorado is likely out of the Big 12 title conversation, so how do they respond? Can Deion keep them motivated? They will be facing one of the better head coaches in Kyle Whittingham. Last year's game was closer than expected, but the experience and physicality of Utah will be too much. Colorado drops to 4-6. November 23rd, Colorado travels to Kansas to face the Jayhawks, adding another tough game to the schedule. Kansas used to be the joke of the league, but have greatly improved the last few years. I believe Kansas will be favored in this one. They played without their starting and backup quarterback for some of the last season and still made a bowl game. With quarterback Jalen Daniels back, I expect Kansas to exceed expectations and hand Colorado its third straight loss, giving them a record of 4-7. Colorado plays their last game of a very ugly season at home against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is another team that is dominant on the line and loves running the ball. They have one of, if not the best running back in the nation, in Ollie Gordon, who rushed for over 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns last season. If Colorado can't stop the run, it's going to be a long night in Boulder. This game will be a shootout as Oklahoma State doesn't have a great defense either, but their ability to just bully Colorado up front in the run game will give them the edge. Colorado ends the season at 4-8 with 4 straight losses to close it out. Looking at their schedule, Colorado actually plays a lot of quality opponents and explosive offenses. If they haven't improved at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, it's going to be a long season. Let me know what your thoughts and how many games you think Deion and Co. can win this year. I'd appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button. Enjoy your 4th of July and stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.